You may have noticed that I'm not in my usual boring spot upstairs in my computer room. This is my garage and it's a bit of a mess at the moment, so you actually join me on DIY Sunday. So my job at the moment is to tidy all this crap up with a view to building my kind of new workbench slash table in my garage, which I'm going to use for home brewing among other things, and also to just sort out my mash tun. It's not going to happen just yet. I've had a bit of a kind of an investigative day trying to find out what I need to do to finish it off. So to explain that, it's fallen over. I've actually given this a bit of a clean up. You can see this is copper piping from my manifold from my mash tun. You can see this is what it looked like before. It's actually really easily cleaned up with a bit of sandpaper. Actually, didn't use wire wool or anything, steel wool or anything. Just used a bit of sandpaper and it looks really nice. However, looking at there's like a British standard code on here, a kind of a kite mark thing, and it's basically, it didn't tell me anything about the dimensions, but it kind of gave me an inkling that it might be obsolete, because it's been there for years and the code relates to a standard which is now out of date. It's been superseded by something else. So the next step was I measured it. It's 19 mils across, internal diameter, 3/4 of an inch pipe, and that's a bit of a problem because I've just been to the hardware store and to B&Q, and they only have like 9 mil, 15 mil, 22 mil fittings and things, and I need elbows obviously to join up the lengths of pipe to make a manifold. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I may just have to go for one of these type things, those kind of wire braid pipes. I've seen loads of people on YouTube and that use them to good effect. So I might do that rather than faffing around getting loads of new pipe if I can't find any fittings of the right size on the internet, elbows and that for this, which I'm going to have a look at later. Research complete. 19 mil internal diameter copper pipe is moribund, dead or dying. It's dead, it's obsolete, it's out of the window. So I think I'm going to go for the old braided hose thing, just because the copper piping gets a bit expensive when you start buying the copper pipe, all of the elbow connectors and everything else, plus your connectors to actually get it through the wall of the mash tun, and a tap and all of that stuff. It starts to get a little bit expensive, and I'm mindful of the pennies. Yeah, so, apart from that, I've got a couple of kegs on the go at the moment, or 3 kegs. Bit of the last batch of beer was a bit of a disaster. I brewed sort of 40 pints of this beer, but it didn't ferment out properly. I whacked a load more yeast in it, used the starter actually, and put that in just before Christmas. I came to keg it the other day, and it's still at the same gravity. And also it had a bit of like a skin on it, and it smelt not that great, so didn't ferment out properly and it's infected. So anyway, it's the first time either of those two things have happened to me. Hopefully it'll be the last. But you live and learn, don't you? I think I just need to be a bit more on the ball with it in terms of my fermentation, the temperature and stuff like that. As you can tell, I'm not the most organised person in the world ever. So I just need to be a bit more structured around it. quite fancy actually. Laramo22, shout out to you if you're watching. He's got a really nice setup in his garage and that, with a chalkboard, like what time he puts the boil on, when his hop additions and all of that. So I might do that actually. I've got plenty of wall space in here. But yeah, that's it. So it's kind of DIY homebrew weekend. Now, this may or may not be a good idea, but I've started drinking, and I'm going to be... Whether or not it was a good idea for me to start drinking at that point in time, I'll let you decide. Given that I'm not swearing at you, I'm showing you that I sawed my hand. You can actually see a nice... you can see the trail of destruction. It doesn't look that bad now, but it was bleeding quite a bit at the time. I've sawn that finger a little bit there, and then it carries on in a nice diagonal line there where you can see I've just gone. So that DIY project isn't quite complete yet. I've got the basic structure there, but by the time I got to that point in the evening, it was getting quite late at night, and I didn't want to be banging around sawing and drilling and stuff. I've got next door neighbours with a young kid, so because I've been at work for the last couple of days, I haven't had a chance to pick up and finish it, but it's nearly there. And time's ticking as far as that's concerned, because I want to get all that sorted out in time so I can start doing my mash tun, because I've got one more lot of ingredients for an extract brew which I really need to use up because I don't want it to get too old, and that'll be a batch of Timothy Taylor Landlord. So after I've done that, I've promised myself I'm not going to make any more extract brews, and I'm not going to make any kit brews until I've done an all grain brew. So it could be a little while, but it's giving me a deadline for me to push and get that sorted. So next few weeks I'll be looking to get the all grain kit all sorted out, and make use of the weekends and stuff like that. It's Wednesday. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. It's actually Wednesday now. I'm currently drinking Quita Penas, which is a kind of cream of tequila, crema de tequila. Made in Mexico, as you can probably imagine. My sister-in-law is Guatemalan, and I went to my brother and my sister-in-law's wedding just over a year ago, over Christmas 2011, and I got this as a Christmas present from Maria's mother, and I haven't touched it, so it's like a year old, and I've just got to start drinking it now. Literally just opened it the other day, and essentially it's kind of like a mixture between tequila and sort of glucose syrup is all I can kind of describe it as. It's really kind of sweet, not as strong as tequila, and it's not bad. Not my favourite drink ever, but cheers. So on the getting on to the point of that, the diet that I've started. One of my resolutions the other day was to cut down on my beer intake. Generally it's worked. Weekend I had a few more, but then I was allowing for that. So I've already had my one for today, hence I'm drinking this. I'm sort of, these things aren't, I'm not actually counting these when I'm counting my calories and stuff like that. I'm sure they do count, but not a lot. I'm not really thinking about it too much. I'm sure there's nowhere near as much in that as there is in a pint of beer. But you know, I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you one of the many sort of whiskies that I've got now in my collection. I've started drinking them, or at least buying them and supping them sort of slowly over the last few months. So over the last year or so, and this is my favourite. It's called Talisker. It's made on the Isle of Skye in Scotland, in the Hebrides, and it's got a beautiful, really lovely, warm, peaty flavour to it. I recommend it wholeheartedly if you can get hold of it. It's not really one of the easier ones to find in the shops here, so worldwide I doubt if it's got that good distribution, to be honest, but there you go, worth a try. So what I found with my diet is that I've actually gone a bit. I'm kind of fanatical about things, so I've gone to a bit of an extreme with it. Who knows how long I'll keep it up? But I've been eating loads and loads of veg and fruit and veg and stuff really healthily. Getting to a point in the day where I've actually not had that many calories, and I have to sort of up to a point to start eating quite a bit in the evening and that sort of thing. But what it has shown me is that it's eminently possible. Now the website I've been using, MyFitnessPal, tells me that a pint of beer, it's got a database of food and that sort of thing. I just put in ale or something like that and picked one at random. I think it was Fat Tire Pale Ale, 20 ounces, which I think is a pint. I'm pretty sure it's a pint, and it comes out at like 250 calories. So anyway, point being, as long as you sort of care for what you eat, or eat a reasonable amount but healthy stuff, you can still have a pint or two. I've been going home from work the last couple of days thinking, yeah, depending on what I eat this evening, I could have actually sort of 3 pints of beer and still stay within my calorie limit. So there's hope out there for all of us who attempt this at some point. Or maybe it's just me. So that's it for this week. Next week I hope to be broadcasting images of a beautiful finished tableau, table, desk, bench thing in the garage, and also I hope to have actually made a start on buying parts, should I say, fittings for my mash tun. I still need to make a boiler, because the only boiler I've got at the moment holds about 18 litres. I think it's 18 litres. Not enough to do a proper full brew length for the all grain way. So that really is going to be a DIY project. Another one of the ilk of the mash tun. So I'm setting myself a bit of a target here, because I've not got that much more beer left in the house, so I've really got to rattle on with it. But I'm basically going to do a method which I've seen several people do, which is kind of like a 30 litre or slightly smaller plastic bucket type fermenter, with kettle elements going in the side, two of them, really cheap ones from a supermarket, and then that's going to be my boiler. So it sounds fun and interesting. So it's kind of the next stage of the hobby for me, you know, because making beer is basically a hobby, you know. It's I do save a bit of money on beer, but realistically, do I end up spending less? I don't know, but I certainly enjoy myself. So getting to a bit of DIY in that, it's just kind of like the icing on the cake of the kind of day-to-day home brewing type thing. So I'm looking forward to that, rather than buying something myself. The equipment will cost probably a bit more, not be half as fun. I'll be able to say, I made that scratch, I bodged that seal, and provided it works okay, that's fine by me. So, this is Bob signing off for another week. Have a great week, everyone. Happy Brew Wednesday. Cheers. Adios. What was it? The Hispanics say? I don't know if this is just like Guatemala's Mexicans. I think you probably do it in Spain as well. Like arriba, abajo, a centro, por dentro. Cheers.